Record. Okay. All right. So I hope everyone's doing well today, and don't forget your cameras do need to be on for class. That's just Virtual Academy policy, so don't forget about that. And I noticed that you guys are getting some things done. Some of you have already completed the first section as I asked. So lesson 1 has been completed. Some of you have not yet, and just make sure that you're completing that, so that because we're going to go into lesson 2 today and kind of get started on that. But did anyone have any questions about lesson 1? Anyone have any questions about that? Any questions, any trouble, or any questions that they ran into with the coding, or how all that kind of, was the coding confusing? Or yeah, this meeting will be done before then. We're going to keep it short today. Nothing? No questions? Cool. Okay. All right. Well, we're just going to take a look at kind of go into, let me go to my table of contents so I can see what I'm doing here. Module 1 and our introduction, our 1.02, 1.02. It should look like this. Everybody can see that? Cool. Okay. So again, after each module, you'll have a small kind of quiz type or some kind of assignment at the end that you'll be graded on. Okay, this does go to your accumulating grade at the end of your for your class. Okay, now here's how this is going to start. Here's how we're going to start doing things. Okay, now I'm going to stop sharing this real quick. After today, I'm going to kind of let you all kind of go on your own. Okay, you can, now it's obvious, I mean, it's pretty much a lesson a day. All right, so every time that, let me go back to sharing, sorry, you can do, a lesson a day. Okay, and then, but we're still going to have meetings and things like that. But I'm not going to require you to attend unless you're failing. Okay, if you have anything below a C, then I'm expecting you to be here in class with me. Okay, so if you have anything less than a C, less than a 70%, then you are expected to be here in class when we have class. So if you're not doing your work, if you are struggling and having issues or anything like that, you are expected to be here. If you're choosing not to do your work, you are expected to be here in class with me. Okay. If you're doing your work and everything's going great and you don't have any issues or anything like that, then you're good. Then we're fine. But as we go through the class, as we go through the semester and everything like that, then during these lessons and during these meetings and such, I want you here with me so that I can help you if you're struggling in class. Okay, everybody got that? Okay, cool. All right. So, okay. So introduction to Python. Python is the programming language that we are going to be using. It's not, yes, it is a snake, but it's not, we're not going to be playing with snakes in this classroom. Okay. I'm not afraid of snakes or anything. I live in the country. I see them all the time. So, but we're not, that's not what we're doing here. So Python is the language that we are going to be programming in. So you're learning a new language this year. You're learning computer language. Okay. So speak, listen, and respond. Okay. The human language, this is what we in the human world call communication. We use our common language, whether it's English, Spanish, hand gestures, shouty capitals, or emojis to communicate with one another. Computers aren't so different. Just as people use human languages to communicate with each other, programmers use programming languages to talk to computers. All right, so during this particular lesson, You should be able to identify the characteristics of high and low level programming languages. Identify programming languages that and their uses, explain the differences in compiled and interpreted languages, input simple Python statements. All right, that sounds like a lot, doesn't it? Sounds like what in the heck is all this mess that they're talking about? All right, I promise you, you're going to get it. Okay. And if not, that's what I'm here for, because I know what all that is. All right. Okay. So then we're going to navigate to our next page. Okay. Computers are really great at taking orders, but it involves a bit more than just telling them what you want them to do. Luckily, your computer will obey commands a lot more than your little brother or little sister or brother. Ain't that right, Bree? Just remember that. Okay. So, and you know what, when I was learning, this is the funny thing, is that when I was learning how to code computers and when I was taking and learning how to do all this, the one thing that my teacher had taught me, kept saying to me was, you need to think like a computer and stop thinking like a human. Because, and I had a lot of funny looks when I said that. So, because when you think like a human, it's automatic for us to just say, okay, this is working this way, so it's going to continue to work this way, and we've got it figured out. Our brain just automatically kind of calculates how things are going to work. Computers don't do that. Computers go through line by line by line. They don't skip steps. So when we're doing this, guys, it's going to be really tempting to kind of skip steps as we go. And I'm going to encourage you, actually, I'm going to strongly encourage you to not think like a human and think like a computer, as my teacher would tell me. And you've got to do things step by step, line by line, and and think like a computer, not like a human. Okay. So just kind of keep that in mind whenever we're doing stuff. Okay. All right. The key is using language they can understand. These are called programming languages. And so again, guys, remember, you can hover over these words so that you know what they're saying, what they mean, and what the definitions are. Okay. Again, you can also, here's your glossary if you're needing to know what a word means. Okay. All right. High and low level languages. There are thousands of programming languages. Each one falls into two categories, high and low level. All right. So, have you ever seen binary code? Binary, who's seen binary code? Who knows what I'm talking about when I say binary? Okay, so I got a couple. All right. So binary, it's ones and zeros. Anyone ever seen, like, have you seen The Matrix? Anyone ever seen the movie The Matrix? Oh my gosh, I'm old. Okay. I'm trying to think of another movie that you may have seen that has it. There's, anyway, ones and zeros all over the place. Ones and zeros. Has anyone ever seen computer code that has ones and zeros? Ones and zeros. Okay, that's binary code. That's binary code. Okay. That is a machine code. It's called machine code. All right. And it's, if you look right here, that's what this definition is. It's a set of instructions composed of ones and zeros that computer can execute without translations. So that's what the computer can read all the time. Okay. So that is the lowest level of programming language that we're going to talk about. Okay. That's a low level of programming language. Okay. Is binary code. All right. So when programmers used to program in binary, they used to be able to program in binary, but as we got more sophisticated, as we started to develop our code, we started to develop our code in more human-friendly formats. So in code that we could read easier, that we as humans could read easier. So in other words, we have developed higher language, higher level programming language like Python and Java that we can read. So the higher level programming is the stuff that we can read. So like whenever you see something that looks like this over here, like with the brackets and the equal signs and, total underscore matches is assigned the value 0, that kind of stuff there. That's higher level language that we can read as humans. Okay, because we can't read that 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1 stuff, right? We can't understand that just by looking at it, right? We have to translate it. But we can go back and we can look at this. Okay, we can't read, we don't know what this says over here, right? Yeah, you guys. So this means this is low level language. This is high level language because this is what we can read. So the high level language is what humans can read. Low level language is what computers can read. Okay. So if, and then what happens is when you type in the information, the computer will translate it to the binary code. So the computer translates your high level language into the code it can read. Okay. So it goes through a translation process that the computer can actually read because the computer can only read the binary code. So when we type in our high level language code, our Python code, it translates it into the binary code. Okay. So cool. Everyone understand what that means? Yeah. Any questions so far? So this is the kind of stuff that you're going to have to learn. And I strongly suggest that you take notes on this. You write things down. You will not remember this stuff if you don't write it down, if you don't take notes, if you're not keeping track of it. I know that you have quizzes and things like that at the end of each of these modules and assignments at the end of each one. So it's important that you take notes, that you know what you need to have. I can't, my brain has stopped working. It's important that you have the information that you need. Okay. And these things are going to carry on throughout. This is stuff that builds on the next thing. Okay. So when you have this information, it's kind of like math. Okay. It builds on itself. So as we do computer science, we're building on each level of learning. So it's important that what we learn now that you still know in a month from now and 3 months from now. Okay. And then you still know it in the spring when we're learning something else that's even harder. Okay. You guys get me? You guys with me? Okay. So take notes and really try to figure out ways to remember this information and everything and all that good stuff. Okay. So any questions? All right. I'm not going to keep you all very long because you guys can read and you guys can do all this on your own. Here's the deal though. I am going to allow you to kind of work on this on your own. Okay. To let you all move forward and get going. Lesson 2 is due by next class period. All right. That's the expectation. Lesson 2, next class period. Some of you have not even done lesson 1. If you have not done lesson 1 or lesson 2 by next class period, I will see you here next class period. If you are caught up, then you'll have your assignment on Google Classroom and you'll see what you need to do. Otherwise, you won't need to be here. If you're caught up and you're keeping on track and you're staying on track with the class and doing what you need to be doing, then you don't need to be here on our Zoom sessions. But otherwise, like I said, if you're not doing your work or anything, I'm expecting to see you right here with me. Okay. All right, y'all. Okay. You all have a great week. Actually weekend, because I will not see you again until Monday. So, but lesson 2, and then I will see you all on Monday for those of you that need some help or are falling behind. Okay. All right. Y'all have a great weekend. I will see you all later. Bye.
Actually, can I talk?